Yo, what is up? Welcome back to the Culture and Cannabis Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Full-Time Tony, here with the one and only, should I give them your government name right now?
Not today.
Okay, we're here with the young, handsome, sleeveless, sunglass, chained up, woo, no wrists. Look at the no wrist. Pull it back to his camera, Rick. Look at, you see no wrist on. You got the wrist. What's good? JC Coates in the building.
JC Coates, what's good? What's good, Tony?
What are we doing right now, bro?
Man, listen, we're on the podcast. We're live on the podcast on Facebook. We're live on the Full-Time Tony Instagram.
Come through, come say what's good.
My sleeves have left the building.
They're completely off now. JC just literally went into his closet yesterday.
I just
grabbed a pair of scissors and just cut them all. Yeah, you're right. He did tear them all off. What am I saying? Look at those arms. He didn't cut anything off. JC doesn't have time to cut things. He just tears things off.
Just rip them off. You know what I mean? Come on.
So let's talk about this current sweatshirt that you're wearing right now. Where did you buy that from?
I got this from H&M. H&M and Town Square on Las Vegas
Is that where
Boulevard.
you shop at, JC? We need to know. People need to know, where is JC shopping at right now?
I've been known to shop at H&M. From time to time. They got the nice jeans that fit me, and sometimes they have sleeveless sweatshirts.
See, the only time I've ever been to H&M was with you.
Okay.
And we bought these chains for my birthday. Yes. And that's the only time I've ever been there, honestly. They just because, you know why? They don't really make a 2XL. They make the size 2XL, but it's essentially a large.
Yeah, it's for the guy,
slender man.
The slender guy about my size.
Yeah. JC has to wear just by the way, this is a 2XL from H&M. This is not a medium or a small. He has to wear the biggest size possible because his arms won't fit. We usually have a guest on the podcast. Today's not one of those days, Some days it's just like going on a date. Whenever you go on a date, and you're super pumped, oh man, I can't wait for this, to meet this person, and she's super cute or he's super cute, whichever way you go with that. And you're you get there, and then 5 minutes before, you get there early because you don't want to be late. And then 5 minutes before the date's supposed to happen, they're I can't do it. Or they stand you up completely. They don't even hit you back. We got set up today.
Yeah. Well, it happens. You know what I mean? And
you're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some on the podcast. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we've been taking W's for so long. I forgot what it felt like to be stood up. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
I haven't been stood up on a date, I don't think, my whole life either. Actually, maybe once, now that I think about it. I do remember one time in Reno, actually, specifically a time. So, was supposed to go out with this girl who I thought was really cute at the time. And I was supposed to meet her at this wine bar because I was the fucking only 19-year-old kid who was yo, let's just go to this cool wine bar. They never didn't card us, whatever. Cool. It snowed the day before.
Okay.
So there was a little bit of snow on the ground. Definitely, you could easily get to this place. I roll up. She totally forgot about the date. 30 minutes, I'm out 15 minutes. I'm all right, I gotta text her. So I text her. I'm yo, is everything good? She's oh my gosh, I just can't get there. The car, but she forgot about the date, bro.
Oh, you got stood up.
Got stood up.
Right.
That was one.
It even happens to full-time.
Well, just that one time, but I remember it till this day. I'll never forget about. I'll forget about some of the whatever dates I had. I'll never forget about the date I got stood up.
Yeah.
I'll never forget about this podcast either, just because we got stood up.
Yeah. I'm gonna say it's good for you. You know what I mean?
I think it's good for your health, honestly.
Good for you. You know what
just
I mean?
to get put in your place. Sometimes your head gets so big, your sleeves start falling off your t-shirt, and you got to get stood up on a date.
It just toughens you up a little bit. We don't need any pansies on this squad. You know what I mean?
I don't know if you can use that word anymore.
Oh, is that word not
I don't know.
Okay.
I just stay away from all the words from now on. I'm just not trying to get canceled or
I'm not sure what that even means, but
if anyone out there knows what the word pansy means, please reach out and let us know, because I have no clue what the word was. It's probably a really derogatory word now that we're talking about it. It's just the way it sounds.
Yeah, I feel like you were kind of acting like a pansy earlier, but I don't. Maybe pansy's not the word. Maybe it's something else.
I don't think pansy's the word.
Maybe it's something else.
I don't think pansy's the right word. Okay. We're gonna cancel pansy. Okay, it's over.
Canceled.
It's over. That word, if it's in your vocabulary, you're canceled.
Oh man, it's a new world.
It's a new world that we live in. So since we don't have a guest today, it's kind of like an open show. JC.
Well,
what do you want to talk about?
All right. Let's talk about what Full-Time Tony does for culture and cannabis. Right? This is like your favorite topic, right?
What do I do for culture and cannabis?
Well, here's the thing. Like, so the other day you made an Instagram post. It was like, one of your many Monday motivational quotes. You know what I mean? I think it was like, big time plays for big time players, right?
Yeah, you big time players make big time plays in big time games.
Yeah, and that's a pretty good quote, and I don't want to blow your head out of the water here.
Whoa.
Right?
It's already starting to get big. It's like right here, bro. It's gonna get bigger.
But you're one of our big time players.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? And when it's game time, we need some of those big plays made and accomplished, right? So we can continue to move the ball down the field, and you've been making some of those big plays, right? And
I appreciate that.
There's a lot of interworkings, day-to-day things that go on with culture and cannabis, and you don't do a lot of all of it, right? And I try to do as much as I can of all the other stuff. But when it comes to those big time, those prime time, like it's the clutch shit.
You know what I'm saying? I just love the ball in my hands with 3 seconds to go.
We got to plug you in. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about like what some of that stuff looks like. What's one of the biggest plays that you made here in the last couple weeks?
In the last couple weeks, well, I can't really talk too much about the deals that we're in, but essentially with my role in culture and cannabis, it's to ensure that the deals that culture and cannabis are making are strategically good deals to make, long-term, short-term, money-wise. Contracts are good, and the best way I like to describe it to people is that like JC is a fisherman, and JC is really good at fishing, and JC can catch as many fish as JC wants, but then JC brings me back all these fish, and he's like, all right, I have all these fish, but which one's a good one that we can turn into dinner so that we can like eat?
Yeah.
And then I go, all right, that fish looks good, that fish looks good, that fish looks good. I got some peppers and some potatoes and some asparagus that I can throw it together with it, a little thing, bada boom, and we both get to eat.
So let's talk about that, right? And so I think that's a beautiful analogy there. I think what I like to call it is extrapolating the value out of the deal, right? And so like I guess if we're gonna blow up your head, we can blow up.
Blow it up, bro. Blow up my fucking head up.
I could be king of deal flow. I mean, I don't know.
I agree that you're the king of deal flow.
I have major deals coming all the time. I can't get through them on my own. Tony helps me get through them. As you see the deals that I bring to the table, weekly, monthly basis, what do you look for? How do you determine where the value is? How do you extrapolate the value out of these different situations? What are you looking for?
I think the biggest thing that I look for is intention from the deal. Like, what is the intention? What was the purpose why this person came to JC, or JC went to this person to construct this deal? Once you figure out the intention, then it's relatively simple, right? Mm-hmm. If it's a deal where it's like, you buy X from us and we sell it to you and you want an advantageous price, that's a pretty clear intention. But when you're creating strategic partnerships for the long term, intentions that are happening today will be completely different what's happening from a year to 3 years to 5 years. And I think JC can even see, and I can see that from the deals that we've made from a year ago, how different those deals are comparatively to the deals that we would have made back a year ago. And so I think the intention is number one. And then number two is like, what do both parties get out of the deal? Because at the end of the day, that's what I need to ensure. It's like, because both parties are giving something up. Bingo.
Right? And both parties are also receiving things.
100%. And so the biggest thing about when you want to make a deal is you got to use the F word. The F word. This is just something I stole from JC, and that F word is called fair, right? You just got to make sure everyone's happy with the deals that are being made, because if you can make a fair deal from the jump, then no one ever feels like they got fucked over from the beginning. Because it's, I feel like this is a very it's happened to everybody in the sense of you agree to something that you're like about, but you do it because maybe you think it's going to get better later on. It's never going to get better. Yeah. Like, if you don't set your intentions from the beginning with deals about what you're looking out of the deal and like what you want from the deal, it's never going to happen retroactively. And I've been fucked many times at a very young age. For a long time with that, even like the Reno as fuck beer deal, right? Like I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and I just thought, oh, like it will just sort itself out. And I had, a partner who maybe thought that they could help me, and I think we both didn't know what we were doing, so I just kind of leaned on him, and it didn't happen the way it happened. And so because of that, I didn't really make the best licensing deal for the Reno as fuck brand. But from those experiences, I've been able to become less fucked.
Yeah, because there's a process to these deals, right? And now that we've been through so many of them, you kind of see the process, and they're all kind of the processes are the same. People are different, and the situations are different. And in terms of extracting the value, that could be different too. But I could be losing my train of thought here.
No, it's okay. You are losing your train of thought. It's all right. I know where you're going though. Get back to like what I'm looking for. So attention, fair, and at the end of the day, what is this deal necessary, right? Because there's a lot of times people feel like they have to do a partnership or do something or set up this big agreement where maybe they don't have to set up that big agreement and they can just start way smaller and have it grow organically. So yeah, and that was something that I actually learned from my sister, who was like, at one point in time, she was like, why do you need a deal like this? Why don't you just do a deal like this? And then maybe I was like, oh, fuck. You don't have to make things more complicated than they need to be. And one thing that I do know, that if you are making a deal with a person who are trying to make it more complicated than it needs to be, run as fast as fucking possible, because that person is trying to fuck you over. Yeah. No deal should be complicated. It should be very simple, and the way that you make money should be simple, and the way that they should make money should be simple, or the value that should be received on both sides should be very simple and clear. If that is not clear cut, that is not a good deal. Yeah. And so that's what I look for, right? Because sometimes, JC is a nice guy. JC is a really nice guy. So JC gets sent some really shitty deals. And sometimes to JC, they're like, on the surface level, it sounds like a great deal. And then me and JC get to dive in and like uncover underneath the hood what's actually happening. And then once that gets popped open, me and JC are like, whoa, what the fuck? What's going on behind the scenes here? And even, even sometimes maybe you think a deal is supposed to happen one way, and then in the negotiations of that deal, it goes a complete other way, right?
Yeah, and I think it's really important to stay open-minded in that frame. And we're kind of like in a deal right now to where I'm struggling to see the value, right? But it's like, I want to stay committed to the process of the deal and to flush the whole deal out just in case I don't miss the value, right? Because through the process, doing the LOI, getting to the agreement, and doing the negotiations, sometimes it takes going through all that process to really see where the value is, to make sure that it is a good deal.
Yeah, and you brought up a good point too, like the process of doing a deal. A lot of people don't understand.
Yeah, so let's talk about
that process. And so you brought up a word called LOI. LOI stands for letter of intent. This is it needs to be a non-binding agreement that it's essentially like, okay, me and JC, we want to work together, right? Okay, cool.
Well, it'll go like this. Let me back it up earlier. So like we'll get a deal, right? Somebody will call me. Usually, if they call you'll flush it out. And if it seems good, then you'll bring it to me, or vice versa, right? And then we'll have a meeting with the person together, and they're like, talk about what the opportunity here is. We'll talk about what some of our value points are. They'll talk about what some of their. If we think that there might be something here, then we got a deal, right? Then it's time for the LOI.
Yeah, there's a lot of lead up that goes before you go to LOI. But yeah, a lot of talk. Make sure everyone's on the same page. Make sure intentions are good. Make sure that so you get to that point. And then so then everyone's like, okay, we want to make a deal. Let's make a deal together. So then usually you don't have to do an LOI. If you feel very comfortable with these people, you can go straight into a contract. What I like about an LOI is that it's like in sense a working contract, because you could say, under this letter of intent, we could work under that, saying, if the deal is 50-50, this person gets 50%, this person gets 50%. Company A has to bring this to the table. Company B has to bring this to the table.
It's an opportunity for both parties to get out what they want, what their intentions are, and what they think it's going to look like, and write it down on a piece of paper.
Yeah, the main deal points, the overview of the scope, just the main things, without all the legal jargon that has to get put in place for the contract. So once that LOI gets done, everyone gets signed, technically you could start working with them, you could not. Some people are like down, okay, great, let's go for it, and then they figure out the contract as they're going. Or some people will say LOI sounds good, now let's move on to a contract, and that's when they'll add the legal jargon. And depending on which way that goes, it's that can determine the deal. And then let's say you get to the contract, that's the most important part. That's where literally you got to make sure you dot your I's and cross your T's. I highly recommend to anybody negotiating any deal to get some type of legal counsel. Lawyers, while they can be expensive, will save you a ton of fucking money in the long run. So just find somebody,
pay them $500, pay them $250 just to once it over, right? Or redline it is what they call it.
Lawyers are, for the most part, good people. Like, there's some people that want to fuck you over, but you could go to pretty much any law firm with a business, be like, yo, dude, I don't have a ton of money. I got $150. You would give me an hour every time just to look over this fucking document and make sure I'm not getting completely fucked. And most lawyers are going to probably say, yeah, dude, I got you. Or DM somebody on Instagram, bro. Like, go on Instagram, DM a lawyer, like, hey, this is what's happening. Can I Venmo you $150, $200 to look over this contract just to make sure I'm not going to get fucked?
Yeah, because what happens is it's basically the LOI in the contract, and both parties usually understand that because it's within their scope of work. But what happens is the contract becomes legal binding, and it has all that legal jargon at the bottom that most people don't really understand unless they're an attorney. So that's why it's important to make sure that an attorney checks that out and makes sure that you have your ass covered.
Yeah, and the other thing is too, so like you have things like Rocket Lawyer or LegalZoom or those stuff, which I think are fine for the most part. But what happens a lot is that different states have different laws, and that's what we've learned while doing the Oklahoma deal, the California deal, and the other states that we've been looking into, is that each of those states have different contract laws. So you got to play to those strengths and or weaknesses. Luckily for us, we've been able to strike deals that are based off Nevada contract law, which has been nice. And I would recommend that if you're producing a deal out in Michigan and you live in California and you're more comfortable with the California laws or Michigan laws, vice versa, to try to get underneath that type of law. Whether if everything went awry, you would go to a court of law in Nevada, not in a different place.
And then just make sure you got that exit clause in there, right?
Yeah, don't ever get yourself too stuck into a deal.
Get a commitment, but get an exit clause in there because you want to make it available for both parties to be able to walk away if at the in a couple of months you guys don't like each other. Happens all the time.
Happens way too much, man, to get caught up into shitty deals. Don't get caught up in the shitty deals. But you know what the shitty part is? You have to do a couple shitty deals before you land the good ones. I wish, I feel like, who says it? There's like a famous philosopher that says, you can learn from other people's mistakes, which I agree with, right? But truly, you will not truly know what to do until it actually happens, right? And then once you get past that process, it's just, just learning process. You just want to minimize the amount of money that you lose with those mistakes, because as the world knows now, the Culture and Cannabis team took a $30,000 hit at the beginning of 2020, like March, April, 30 grand, boom, which is, a very essential part, what money that's needed for the business, right? So, but the only way we were able to learn that was by going through that process. And now we know, and we'll never make that $30,000 mistake. And that $30,000 mistake didn't turn into a $300,000 or a $3 million mistake, which is what I'm appreciative for. And, that's most people's average college tuition is about 30 grand. So we're going to the school of hard knocks.
Yeah.
With these cannabis deals, man.
Yeah. That was a hard lesson. You know what I mean?
It hurt, bro, for a long time, and it's still going to hurt. But the thing is, it's just like, we got to keep moving, because you can cry about losing the 30 grand or whatever, cry about the bad deal. You could cry about it. But at the end of the day, you put yourself in that situation and you got to get yourself out. And the worst part I think about, not the worst part, but the funny part to me is that when I had told other people that I've been working with in the industry about it, they're like, well, is there like anything you can do about it? Like, can you sue them? And then we're like, yeah, we can, but it's going to cost us that amount of money if we have to ever go to like court. Yeah. And then they're like, well, it sounds like you just made a deal in the cannabis industry. And so it's just like, I feel like I've earned my stripes, earned my stars and stripes.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough out there in business. You know what I mean? And you got to be ready for ready for battle, right? And
Battle tested.
that's I think we're battle tested.
Nevada, battle born, baby.
But yeah, I think that was a dope little kind of dive in on some of the agreements and the process of deal making that we do, because that's a huge part of our business. I mean, like we're literally looking at deals, negotiating deals every Monday through Friday, every single day.
Every day.
And we're in the middle of several deals right now.
Hopefully one lands, I think one's going to. I think we have a couple big things in the work that will be really, really cool that I'm super pumped to talk about when it actually comes to fruition. So yeah, and I think that's going to be great.
That would be the young men that might be coming to Nevada. Is that who you're talking about?
Young man might come to
The spaceman.
Oh, spaceman might be coming. Yeah, there might be a spaceman coming to Nevada. We'll talk about that later. Well,
that's quite the deal.
Hey man, we're making deals, due process, But I think our friends in the different state who want to come to Nevada want to be a part of us telling Nevada.
Yeah.
When it happens, but we'll tell Nevada.
So,
Nevada already knows.
So what do you think else is like interworkings in our business that has some interesting nuances that we don't really get to talk about a lot?
I mean, have you guys ever heard about seeded weed?
So in Nevada, like brands,
just anywhere in the country.
Yeah, anywhere in the country.
Growing weed's an issue.
Yeah, and it's
it can be.
It could like you have the agricultural issues, right? And brands that work out of one cultivation, they don't have perfect harvests every single time, right?
It's impossible.
It's just impossible, right? And so. You have to plan for that because all kinds of things happen. Especially in Nevada, we have some of the highest testing standards in the country, if not the highest standards. And that tests for, hundreds parts per million or
per billion
of just anything in the air can throw off your whole harvest and throw off your whole quarterly sales report, man.
Just to give people a perspective too, food by the FDA's parts per 100 or parts per 1,000. So that's the difference. Like we test on parts per billion. Mm-hmm. So you're talking like lots of zeros before you hit the one, while as food that you eat is like 001 or 0001.
So you could just be plugging along with your supply chain, and what I mean by supply chain is just your supply of products that you're selling and entering into the market, and then all of a sudden you could test 300 pounds of your harvest could get fail for aspergillus, or it could end up with seeds in it, or there could be gusts of wind that blow off the roof of your greenhouse.
Or a disgruntled employee whips out his dick and starts peeing all over the plants.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, there's all kinds of things.
That's never happened before, but I was just thinking about like the worst case scenario.
You just had to go there, didn't you? I hope HR isn't watching.
I hope CNC HR is not watching, because that would be bad. They're going to give me a call after this and say, hey, can't be saying that on the podcast. Just kidding. That's just Joy. Joy will call me and be like, so funny.
Yeah. So
that's another thing too, is like the corporate cannabis side. Mm-hmm. Like we are the least corporate company. JC's not wearing fucking sleeves right now.
I ripped him off earlier.
JC, this motherfucker, we had a semi-serious meeting about one of the deals that we're working through today. Homeboy hops on this Zoom and is sleeveless, and I'm not on the camera. I don't believe in being on those cameras. It's just not for me. But JC's on that motherfucker.
I'll do the video too.
JC does the video, and it's really an older man thing. Like they're just like so okay with like being on camera. I'm just like, what are you guys doing? And it's like me and pretty much everyone else on that we're talking with is 35 plus, 40 plus. And all these guys were in suits and ties, and they look really nice. And you can't see me, and JC's wearing a cut-off sweatshirt. So,
yeah.
And then
by design.
And then we proceed to go to this event called Lexicon, which is a very business professional speaking event. It's really aimed towards like marketing, branding, SEO, stuff of that nature, advertising.
And I'm actually headlining on day 2.
JC's headlining on day 2 with Brian Kipp. Shout out Brian Kipp.
Brian Kipp.
And Sofa King Media Group. JC walks into this building, we roll up, and I don't really know what to expect because, you know, I just wear black clothes all day long, black shirt, black jeans. So I pretty much just like fit any occasion because either I look like the help or I look like I fit in. So it doesn't matter. So we roll in and everyone's in suits and ties. Everyone's dressed up. Everyone's looking nice. And this motherfucker's wearing no sleeves.
Yes.
And I swear to you, I kid you not, at least 30 people was like, oh, guns are out, huh? I was like, JC, they probably think you're a WWE wrestler here for entertainment, bro. What's his name? Macho Randy Savage. No, what's his name? Randy Savage.
Yeah, Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh, yeah.
That guy, right?
Yeah. I mean, listen, you know,
about to do a fucking Slim Jim commercial.
You know, if I can't build a business and wear fucking no sleeves whenever the heck I want, then, you know, I might as well go back to working for somebody else, right?
Is that the analogy?
I mean, listen. You know,
listen, if I can't show off these fucking guns
whenever I want, I'm not doing any
then
of this.
I should just work at McDonald's then. Fuck it. Catch me at McDonald's flipping burgers.
Well, listen, you know, when I design my life and when I design my business, just like the deals that I take and when I don't take, it's a mixture of, you know, doing God's work and strict profitability, right? And, you know, it has to be kind of in the middle, so I'm fulfilled in a certain way, right? And so
profits.
It's not all about, you know, suits and button ups and, you know, the most amount of profits and all that stuff. But listen, if I can't dress the way I want, if I can't fucking show up in a Zoom the way I want, then whose fucking company is it really? You know?
Yeah, it's true. Listen, I wear the same thing every day. No one says anything to me. I'm wearing fucking sunglasses and a chain on this podcast. But I agree, you know. You should.
And have you seen the guns lately? I mean, they're looking pretty good.
Oh my God. Pretty good. I can't wait until he tells people that he's actually a lizard person and that he's genetically modifying his body to look like this. JC actually came from another planet and is now here. And he doesn't know what to do with himself. But he's like the worst alien because he can't see, hear, or remember.
I can just sell.
But he can lift motherfucking weights. That's for damn sure, dog. And he can show him. Was good. Well, shit. Do you have anything else that's happening? Like, I guess we're doing a pop-up tomorrow.
We can do announcements and then we can send it, man. What do we got going on?
Tomorrow we have a pop-up over at Canistars. The brand new Canistars in downtown Las Vegas. The closest dispensary to downtown Las Vegas from 5 to 7 p.m. Glass Vegas is happening. If you're at Glass Vegas, come over, come hang out. We're going to have free food, DJ. It's going to be us, Rove, and
Pana Extracts.
We're going to have a bunch of great people. This is a women-owned dispensary. It's super cool. Great vibes. It's beautiful on the inside. I'm really pumped about it. They have some of our culture and cannabis products. They're rocking and rolling. So, I mean, yeah, it's going to be fantastic. So come check that out.
Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to send our events out in Oklahoma. If we can get July approved.
I think July's approved. I just got to follow up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we could just talk about it right now if you want to. Unless you don't want to jinx it.
No. Mike Jones.
I think it's going to happen. Yeah, Mike. I talked to Mike Jones on the phone yesterday. Mike, very pumped about doing another show, getting back out. He was like, Tony, why aren't we doing Reno, bro? And I was like, listen, dog, like the restrictions here in Nevada doesn't make it really advantageous to be throwing events right now for small promoters, smaller event throwers like JC and myself. So, but we can throw a banger in Oklahoma.
Yes, we can.
And I'm pumped because Oklahoma, man, I never hated Oklahoma. Let me just make the statement, Oklahoma. I never hated Oklahoma. I had a distraught view on Oklahoma because JC sent me and Chuck out there for 32 days and I got fucking COVID. So my time spent was in a below average Airbnb that probably had asbestos. So I just, my outlook on Oklahoma wasn't great. Fast forward, Oklahoma, my 4 trips ago, whenever the fuck we went. Phenomenal. Such a good time.
People are amazing. The cannabis community in Oklahoma is thriving. It's a special time.
I just can't thank the Oklahoma people enough. There's just so many great people out in Oklahoma. Too many to mention, to be honest with you, but just really pumped about doing an event out there and seeing all those lovely, bright faces at the first ever Oklahoma Culture and Cannabis event.
Yeah, it's going to be sick.
Where's it going to be at?
The First Shop, downtown Tulsa, Oklahoma.
That's a super old school shop.
Legendary bar. It's 3 stories. It's got a huge balcony and a stage in the back. It's the First Shop. I think it's been open for like 25 years downtown Las Vegas. Tulsa.
And I fucking, downtown Tulsa is my motherfucking shit. It
is really nice.
Me and Chuck have a rule that anytime that we're in Tulsa on a Friday or Saturday, even a Thursday night, we're going out, bro.
Yeah, and it has a rich culture too. Rich culture, stories with the black community that rose up there so many years ago. Downtown Tulsa is a special place.
It's popping, and I'm excited to get that place jumping off. July 24th. More information to be coming out soon. It's gonna be great. I think that's all we have coming up. We have anything else?
Yep. The Hustler's gonna drop in. Looks like 13 days.
Oh, so was I right with my 36-day assessment?
You're close.
12 days ago.
You're probably closer than I was.
Yes. And we have it recorded. Hopefully this is a clip. Hopefully Rick can bring it back. Be like, hey, Anthony said 36 days. Fast forward 13 days later, boom, here we are. Right. And then, but it has to be the SpongeBob. I know you don't watch SpongeBob, and he's like, in SpongeBob, and it has like a pretty notorious like B-roll clip that says like 10 minutes later, or like
10 minutes,
or it's like 10,000 years later,
several moments earlier.
Yeah. Yes. So hopefully that gets done in there. Jenny's back there watching, so hopefully. But
I think that's a wrap.
But yeah, I don't want it to end. Just kidding. Thank you guys so much for watching the Culture and Cannabis podcast and or listening to the Culture and Cannabis podcast. Make sure to check out the Culture and Cannabis page. Oh, I forgot. Quickly, we're producing a fuck ton of dope ass media right now. So many dope blogs. I mean, we just talked about the NFL. We're talking about why bags are good for prepackaged flower is good for the cannabis community. We're talking about so many different things right now. So go hop on the Culture and Cannabis Culture and Cannabis LV.com page to check out all the dope media that we're doing. So hopefully we'll get the Culture and Cannabis.com page back. JC did some boomer shit and lost it in the oblivion, but we got Supersonic Chuck Sakuso on the task. So hopefully we'll get that back soon. But for the time being, it's Culture and Cannabis LV.com. Bi-weekly articles, hop on the email list, know when our drops are, know when our events are. I mean, you really want to get involved with the Culture and Cannabis page. The Culture and Cannabis IG's been looking fucking phenomenal. It's looking like a real media company, and it's just so sick to see.
Check it out.
Check it out.
All
right, that's the podcast. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.